I'm Nadia Dunn, your host of CCL TV, TV made by the industry for the industry. But who are CCL? Well, CCL are an independent and neutral third-party logistics service provider and custom clearance specialist. From e-concept to e-logistics for e-commerce, CCL has the e-solution. And joining me today is COO and co-founder of AiDock, Tomer. Thank you so much for joining us today, Tomer. How are you?
Oh, well, thank you. It's my pleasure. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for being here. Now, can we start by, if you tell us a bit about yourself and how you got into the industry and ended up with AiDock?
Yes, with great pleasure. It's a story I love telling because it's like how occasional meetings turn out to be something big. So it was about, my first job in my life was to be an export customs clerk for DHL. So that's how I started my life. About 12, 13 years later, I was the VP of strategic account for another big freight forwarder in Israel, and was recruited by the AiDock, which is a logistics accelerator specialized in the maritime and logistics sector. I was recruited by them to be a mentor for the startups that are joined the accelerator. And here's a surprise: one of the startups was AiDock. In the beginning, when I heard what AiDock want to do, use AI for customs, coming from the industry without any tech knowledge, it sounded too crazy to be true. And actually, that's what got me into it. I said, well, if it's going to happen, I want to be a part of it. I want to lead it. And basically, closing the circle of starting as an export customs clerk and now developing the software that will do it together with the export customs clerk.
Well, can we go back to basics and tell us about, from a product perspective, what is AI and what the main services for supply chain businesses, particularly in the EU?
Okay, so AI in general is just the ability to take better decisions faster. That's how I define AI in every aspect. It can go for Siri, for autonomous car, for every utility of AI. It's ability to take a better decision faster, either by the AI or by the person. But we're all taking a better decision, making it faster. In the service of productivity and logistics, I have to say AI is not a product for logistics. AI is a tool that helps other products in logistics just to do better. So we, at least as AiDock, we don't sell AI as a product for our customers. We're selling a full solution that will help boost the productivity and efficiency using AI technologies. That's a difference in perception and how we see it, actually making an advantage, giving an advantage to our customers.
And how does that then fit into the supply chain? Where's that used?
So supply chain has, we can use supply chain as a big word, but the small word are items that needs to cross border. And there are two lanes for every item. One is the physical lane where an actual courier has to go and pick up the goods, put it on a truck, then to the airport, another truck. So it's the physical lane of the goods. And then there is the other lane, which is bureaucracy. So every time that you want to export or import an item, there is a lot of bureaucracy around it. You have to deal with documents, you have to take financial decisions, such as ages codes, deal with a variety of documents that goes to every supplier with his own kind of structure, and a lot of rules that has to be enforced. And that is the problem that we are solving for supply chain, the paperwork burden. So instead of having clerks doing this mundane job of data entry, we can turn them into data controllers. Mm-hmm. So instead of doing the actual data entry, they can just monitor the system that is taking the right decision and help it do a better job tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I can give you an example from the autonomous car. It works about the same. There are autonomous cars today that know how to drive by themselves, but you're still required to have a driver's license, sit on a driver's seat, and be ready to take control whenever is needed. We're working on the same road. So our solutions can do the job, but we still, the employees or data entry clerks has to monitor the job and just make sure that they're taking the right decision.
Wow. And can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, with great pleasure. So we actually built an end-to-end system for the customs declaration. So once we have documents coming into our system, it's been processed by our virtual employees. And maybe a few words about virtual employees. Customs is the same all over the world, basically. It's the same job. But every company has their own procedures and policies and culture. I don't believe that such a product can be an off-the-shelf solution. So we're looking at them as virtual employees. They're practically joining the company. They're being trained by the company to serve the company, and working together with the employees of the customs department, so the company in overall can process more declarations, process it much faster and much more accurately.
Sounds very futuristic. What's the status of cross-border marketplace with AI post-Brexit?
So I think that Brexit is today's a big opportunity for a lot of companies, for a lot of people. The UK customs has issued, I remember about a year ago, they raised a problem that there's a shortage of 5,000 customs agents and 50,000 customs declarants to deal with Brexit, because suddenly when an English buyer who used to buy something for Germany, they did not have any customs action in between them, but now they do. So that takes the amount of customs declarations that has to be processed in the UK exponentially high. Having that with the need for professional people with customs, because there's a lot of financial decisions that has to be taken. That's what makes Brexit as a big opportunity, because this is where AI fits in. If you need to deal with exponential growth, that's the solution. You can never hire enough people to deal with that growth, but you can adopt technology to help your people deal with that growth.
Yeah. And can AiDock services improve international cross-border shipping then?
Definitely. One of the problems that AI can solve is the costs and speed, cost and pace. So every day that an item or container is stayed at the port costs a lot of money. And the average time it takes to process a customs declaration, this is according to the World Customs Organization, is about 30 minutes. So we basically, with our solutions, we can make sure that no container is being delayed at the port for no reason, and complete a customs declaration within 1 minute. And the AI real magic is not the ability to do it in 1 minute, but the ability to do millions of customs declaration in the same 1 minute.
Exactly. So it's great for productivity.
Exactly. Productivity and efficiency, that's what AI brings, the big news that AI brings to the table.
Yeah. And can you tell us a bit about your commercial discussions with CCL and how that started?
Yeah, well, actually, if I remember correctly, I sent a message to Sherdrime, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, over LinkedIn, where he posted something about innovation. And so I just went straight to him and said, look, innovation is us, that's what we're doing. We're maybe a little bit ahead of our time, but we're looking for pioneers. And that's what Sherdrime is. So we had a very, very good talks, and it's still ongoing. Hopefully that we can start working together very soon.
Excellent, let's hope so. And can you tell us about any new value proposition enhancements at AiDock?
I think that lies mostly about productivity and efficiency. So that is the real value that AI brings to the supply chain in general, and customs in particular. As I said, the ability to process more, process better, and much faster.
Excellent. And do you have any thoughts on sustainability and sustainability within the logistics industry?
Definitely. Sustainability is a very big word. So today you can see it with the climate convention in Glasgow, going on in Glasgow. So a lot around sustainability. And I look at it from there are 3 different angles that you can look at the benefits that AiDock can bring to its customer. The first one is the physical one, that we're helping to save the trees. Can you imagine a customs broker without a printer? That is something that I haven't seen until today. Customs broker that doesn't have any printer inside. So we're helping to save the trees and maybe support the climate so we can be much more natural. On the mental side, when you have AI solutions, as we see, it frees up the time for the employees to take more value-added actions for the company, rather than just doing some data entry or making this mundane work. So they can give better service to the customers. And I think that that's what the world is missing. You can see it from the bigger resignation going on in the US. Mental breaks. So people will suddenly have time because they have AI that are working for them. They support the AI to keep on working, but they have time to give better service to the customers. Mental breaks during their day, go back home much happier, much more convenient. I think that is where the world is going in every aspect of the industry.
Well, especially post-COVID, kind of taking care of your mental health, which has really promoted that side of things, that we really do need to look after our mental health.
Exactly.
And what do you see the future actually post-COVID?
Well, post-COVID, I think that COVID let everyone know that logistics is the biggest vein we have in the world. Without logistics, we wouldn't have masks outside of China, for example, because no one manufactures masks before COVID outside of China. So logistics is very important. Adding to that, the fact that during COVID, a lot of people stayed at home, they couldn't go to the mall or to do some shopping. So they're now getting used to buy things online. And it opens a bigger window for people to buy things that does not exist in their country. So they can import stuff very fast. So if 10 years ago, there was one importer importing a container of 1,000 toys, now there are 1,000 importers importing one toy.
Yeah.
And that's the difference that COVID, I think, pushed to the edge. In that perspective.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot. And finally, are there any things on the horizon for AiDock? Anything you can let us know? Any breaking news?
Well, I cannot disclose too much, but I can tell you that we have happy to share with you that we have proven results for our solution. It's not just a dream of the founders, but it's proven results of reducing about 70% of the time it takes to process a custom declaration.
Wow.
And making sure that it's much more accurate. One of the things that AI supports here is the ability to control. So today, when you have employees, declarants that are doing a job, you cannot control what they're doing or what they're transmitting to customs.
Yeah.
With AI, you can control. So you're making sure that you're always on top of the accuracy, you're always productive. And that will really help, I think, every company down the line for the bottom line profits.
And efficiency and productivity are just shooting.
Exactly.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time, Tomer. Before you go, can I ask you, if you were to be stranded on a desert island, what would be your album or book of choice to take with you? Well,
I'm going to sound a bit kitsch, I think, but I think my family photo album. It really tells the story of my life.
Oh, that's lovely. Oh, that's really nice.
I'll bring my daughters next time, so you'll see why I'm saying that.
Yeah, well, you can send them the video.
Oh, with great pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, Tomer. It's been really lovely talking to you, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you in the new year to talk about more of your products that will be coming around.
With great pleasure, and as we discussed, you need to come to Israel and make a local interview.
Yes, I'll see you in Israel. Thank you.